thing about getting your first paid customer is it's easier than you think, but harder than you'd ever believe. And I'm not saying drop out of college. I didn't drop out of college until we hit 20K MRR, monthly recurring. Most people don't give a fuck, right? Most people are lazy and they're stuck in their box and in the matrix, and it will help you lock your first client for whatever you're doing.
Now, I'm 21 years old, I've got my own house, a nice car out there, and I feel like I'm definitely at the point where I can help others and share the knowledge that I've spent years learning.
If I had known everything that I'm going to teach you in this series, I can guarantee you that I would have hit the 10K or 20K MRR mark years earlier. It literally took me years, tons of failed startups to learn everything that I'm going to teach you in this channel and in this series. I'm really grateful you're here, because one of my favorite things to do is talk about this stuff and share what I've learned. But as I'm sure you know, most people don't give a fuck, right? Most people are lazy and they're stuck in their box and they just don't care. But now I get to speak to you guys, even if it's 2 of you. I don't give a shit. I'm happy you're here. Thank you. So this video is going to be about exactly how I got my first client. And of course, I'm gonna have to break this down into lots of other videos because there's so many important parts to this, but I'm gonna try to give you a quick enough high-level overview, and it will help you lock your first client for whatever you're doing. So first, we picked our business model, social media management. Why? Because it's a proven model. You cannot go wrong as long as you work hard enough. I had tried so many other things and I said, fuck it. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to drop out of college. I'm going to pick one thing that I just need to put the effort into and I know it's going to work. So we picked that, and then we had to niche down. One thing you'll learn very early in entrepreneurship is you need a goddamn niche. There's very few things that you don't need a niche. But for most things, you need a niche, which is a little area for you guys to focus on, one industry. We picked restaurants because we lived in DC at the time. We knew it was kind of easy to make food content and trending videos and shit, and there were so many restaurants around. So after that information, okay, social media management, restaurants, we went to make a website. Most people say, oh, you make your logo and build a website, you should just get money in. No, okay? You do need a website. You do need business cards. We'll talk about sales later, but that stuff is really important. So we made a website, used ChatGPT for the copy, made it high converting. The goal is if you're a business owner and you go on this website and you're looking for social media help, you're then gonna email us and convert. Once we made our website, we realized that we're not closing anybody without example videos. It just doesn't happen. So that was a problem though. How do we make example content? What we did, we dressed up real nice, my co-founder and I, and for a couple days, we visited, I'd say it was probably 20 or 30 restaurants, saying we'd film them a free video. Eventually, one of the chill-ass managers, I think Rockland Barbecue or something in DC, said yes. So we filmed a video. Using that footage, we made a couple example videos, boom, put them on the site. Good enough for now. Now you got a website with some examples of what you do and why it will help. So now we have a website and we have some example videos that were shitty but good enough. So next comes the hardest part of starting any business, getting your first client, your first paying customer. This applies whether it's an app and there's a paywall or it's a service like ours, consulting, whatever it is. No matter what, getting your first paying customer is always the hardest part. But once you do that, you're over the hump. And the thing about getting your first paid customer is it's easier than you think, but harder than you'd ever believe. And let me explain that. For me, I had to go door to door to 207 restaurants and knock on their door and pitch ourselves before we got our first client. So the process is easy. It's very simple. Go pitch your service to people until they say yes. But the discipline it takes and the self-belief to keep doing that 207 times in my case and getting told no and laughed at to fuck off, oh maybe, but they're obviously not interested, that is really hard. But you just gotta make it through. So with our website, with our business cards, I know everybody says, oh, don't make business cards, don't do any of that until you get a paying customer. That's wrong. I went to 207 restaurants, every single one. Here's our card, here's my pitch. My pitch got better every single time. And then on the 207th try, I sat down with the manager. She said, I'm really busy right now. Can you come back in 2 days and we'll discuss? That was huge. So I stopped the sales process and we excitedly prepared everything we could for those 2 days. A nice little proposal printed out on paper, pricing, all that good stuff. Anything that was left up to the wind, like, oh, we don't have a Google Drive yet to share documents. We don't have DocuSign. We made all of it and got it ready for that meeting. So when I sat down with her, I opened a folder, and the folder had a printed proposal, right? It had a contract, all this bullshit that ChatGPT helped us make us seem like we knew what we were doing. I was dressed nice with a briefcase, with our business cards, right? I explained it to her, and for this first client, you're not gonna make a lot of money. You basically give your shit away for free. I think it was like, what was it? It was like $600 or $1,200. I don't know. But for the work we were doing, it was nothing. It was well below industry standard because we had nothing. We had no proof. We had to close her. And so we closed her. And the name of the restaurant was Soupy Dumpling, I believe. Yeah, that was it. And that's how we got our first client. And I'll be honest with you, it was pretty simple when you look at it from a bird's eye view. The hard part was the discipline, okay? The hard part was me waking up every single fucking day and going to knock on 20 doors and get rejected 20 times in the 100-degree heat in a nice suit. It sucked. It was awful. But I held this idea in my mind that every no is closer to a yes. Simple. You can do the same thing. If you want to become an entrepreneur tomorrow, all you have to do is make the decision in your head. Let's say you want to do social media. Fine. Pick a niche that needs it and go knock on 207 doors, and you're gonna close someone. Maybe it will be 500, maybe it will be 10, maybe you'll get lucky, who knows? But you gotta build the business model, you gotta make a high converting website, you gotta have some examples of what you're offering on there, and then go make your pitch. After every pitch, hand them a fancy business card, dress nice, and eventually someone will close. Now, we're not doing anything with restaurants anymore. We've actually transitioned, we're in a completely different niche. But that's how we started, and that's all that matters. But I want to tell you one thing. You can do it, and everybody's going to tell you that you're being a little delusional, right? All of my friends thought I was a little insane, but you got to be. If you want to make this shit work, you got to go all in. There is no such thing as having backup plans, okay? Delete them. There is no backup, and you just have to make it work. If you delete plan B and C, and you only focus on your business, and I'm not saying drop out of college. I didn't drop out of college until we hit 20K MRR, monthly recurring revenue. But I did. The point is, I knew I was dropping out. I knew I was not getting a job, okay? I knew I was not getting some finance fucking bullshit internship. I knew that I was gonna make my business work, and you can do the same thing. I really hope you enjoyed this video because I want to make more of these. And if you click the like button or subscribe or whatever, it will make it a lot easier for me to make more of these. But I hope you found value in this, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Peace.